Hello everyone, and welcome to the final week. Last week was a tough one. There were a few concepts that people struggled with. Also, you turn in your final paper follow-up proposals, and I'll be grading those throughout the week and sending you feedback through Moodle. First, on the repeated measures chapter, the design, whether it's incomplete or complete, tells you about whether participants see each level of the independent variable more than once. This does not tell you about how order is determined, which is the Latin square or specified orders if it's an incomplete design, or ABBA or block randomization if it's a complete design. For the complex designs, there were a number of points of confusion, so I thought it might be helpful to go over an example, and this is just the complex design assignment. The main effect is the effect of one variable while you're ignoring the other. So if you're talking about the main effect of problem difficulty, you should not mention anything about trained or untrained in your response. What you need to talk about is how problem difficulty affected the dependent variable, which in this case is problem solving. So based on the fact that there was a difference between the means for the easy condition and the hard condition, what we would say is something like there was a main effect of difficulty with easy scoring higher than hard. So we're averaging across here because all we care about is easy compared to hard. There were two ways that we discussed to test an interaction effect. The subtraction method, where you subtract either across both or down both. And if the numbers are different, it indicates an interaction. Or graphing the means, in which case if the lines are not parallel, there is an interaction effect. Most people seem to get that, but once you've tested that there is an interaction effect, you also need to interpret it. So this is a little confusing. These simple main effects are how you interpret the interaction. These are different than the main effects, which just talk about one variable separately. So for a simple main effect, you would say that for the easy condition, there's not much difference in problem solving between the trained and untrained conditions because these scores are almost the same. For hard problems, though, the trained conditions do much better than the untrained condition. So basically what you do when you're describing the simple main effects is methodically describe all of your four conditions. Okay. At this point, I'm going to pause to say that if you'd like extra credit, send me an email by Wednesday at midnight saying that you've read this email or watched the video, and you'll earn 1 point. Okay, so moving on to this week. For this week, your final paper is due. Basically, what you're going to need to do is make my suggested revisions to your summary and follow-up proposals and combine them into one paper. You may need to add in a transition paragraph that kind of discusses the weakness of the previous study and how you'll follow up and address it, or how your follow-up will address it. You should also be sure that you finalize your APA-style formatting, and be sure to check the assignment guidelines up at the top in Moodle to make sure you've met all the criteria for submitting. This week, we'll also look at your final chapter on data analysis and interpretation. You only need to read a few pages from your book. And also note that your book includes a lot of formulas, but you're only responsible for the ones that are listed in the PowerPoints. You've got one assignment and one test for this chapter, but the material is challenging, so don't save it all till the last minute. The other thing to note is based on our course schedule, classes end on Thursday at 11:55 p.m. So this means that your assignment, your final paper, and your test all need to be done by Thursday instead of Sunday this week. Make sure you have them done. Okay, finally, we have just a few course wrap-up activities. I have a class effectiveness survey that's an anonymous evaluation. For online classes especially, I like to get student feedback about what worked and what didn't work, so I appreciate your thoughts. You can take this anytime between now and Friday at 11:55. Also, we have an optional final exam, which opens during our exam period, which is Friday. So this will open on Friday, June 24th at 8 a.m., and then we'll close on Friday, the same day, at 11:55 p.m. The test is 80 multiple choice items, and you have 100 minutes. Unlike other tests, you may not select multiple answers for each item. Be aware that the final exam opens Friday morning, when that happens, your other tests will no longer be visible. So if you want to study from the other tests, you should do that before Friday. If you score higher than your test average on the final exam, that score will replace your test average. If you score lower, so if you do poorly on the final exam, that grade will not count. So taking the final exam will not hurt you. It can only help you. So have a great week. I will try to get your follow-up proposals back to you as soon as I can, and let me know if you have questions.